In the air war over Vietnam, one day stands out among all the rest. May 10th, 1972. The full fury of American air power is unleashed on North Vietnam. More Vietnamese MiGs are shot down on this day than on any other day of the war. Now, you're in the cockpit for an unprecedented minute-by-minute, hour-by-hour account of the Vietnam War's bloodiest day of air combat. Experience the battle. Dissect the tactics. Relive the dogfights. Navy aircraft from the carrier Constellation rumbles through the skies of North Vietnam. It is the first assault of a focused, intense air campaign against the North, aimed at crippling the communist invasion of the South.
That Buck initially picked was right over a 100mm battery that opened up on us, the AAA.
This code is how Red Crown calls out radar contacts. Blue Bandits means MiG-21s, the North's most advanced 9D Sidewinder's solid rocket motor ignites.
It immediately made a hard 90-degree turn towards the inside of the circle. I was going to pull in and shoot again. It came in and went right behind the MiG and fired its warhead, but it basically missed the MiG.
Dosay fires a second missile.
It did the same thing. Went inside the circle, came around. There was a 1 potato, 2 potato, and then a big orange fireball.
It is Kurt Dosay's first kill and the first victory of this historic day. But there's still one MiG left. Dosay asks McDevitt if the radar-guided Sparrow missiles are tracking. On the deck, there's too much ground clutter for the AIM-7's radar to get a lock. But Dosay has an idea. To accomplish this, Dosay will pitch the nose up and barrel roll. As he comes down, he'll be in better position for the missile shot. Dosay pulls hard back.
So as I barrel roll up out of fighter pilot good habits, I was looking around and I saw 2 more MiG-21s in fighter wing coming at us.
Dosay and Hawkins are here. The MiGs are here. Their best option is to turn into the attacking MiGs to keep the enemy off their 6. The Phantoms break right. The MiGs roar overhead. The Phantom's brute power will leave the danger far behind. Suddenly, Jim McDevitt spots a silver glint. It's a MiG-21 closing on Hawkins' 6. The Americans react instinctively, turning towards each other in an attempt to foil the MiG's attack. The missile detonates close to Austin Hawkins' Phantom. The big beast shakes off the insult. Now the MiG reverses, beating a hasty retreat. Dosay turns in pursuit. Dosay forms up on Hawkins. And together they head back to the Constellation. The F-92 has a new MiG killer.
Bob Lodge had indicated that he had a lock-on with number 1.
Lodge fires 2 Sparrow missiles in rapid succession. Then John Markle fires. Markle's first is a dud, but the second lights. Chuck de Bellevue locks up a third MiG. The volley of missiles climbs, accelerating to near Mach 3. Bob Lodge's first missile malfunctions, exploding when its rocket booster burns out. But his second missile tracks smoothly to the target. Seconds later, Markle's missile hits home. The pilot of the third MiG, targeted by Steve Ritchie and Chuck de Bellevue, sees the destruction and brakes left. Ritchie and de Bellevue's Sparrow burns out short of the target and falls away. Ritchie flies head-on with the fourth MiG-21. The MiG streaks over his canopy. The fourth MiG is here. Ritchie is here. He will roll right, turn 180 degrees, and swing in behind the MiG.
The MiGs helped us out quite a bit because they continued straight ahead until we got into a rear quarter position, and then the MiG began to turn, but not a hard turn.
The first missile fails to track. A second Sparrow races from the Phantom.
The second missile went under the belly of the airplane, exploded.
Oyster 3 barrels past the debris. De Bellevue spots the MiG pilot as his parachute opens. Meanwhile, Bob Lodge and John Markle have engaged a fifth MiG-21 that's roared into the fray. Its tailpipe glows crimson, just off Lodge's nose. It's too close for a heat-seeking missile. John Markle stays behind Lodge to clear his tail.
Two MiG-19s come flashing over my canopy, passing from right to left, and
after surprising the enemy, the Americans have now stumbled into a North Vietnamese ambush. Markle calls out the MiG-19s, a heavily armed fighter with 3 30mm cannons. Tracers arc across the sky, but Lodge doesn't break. Explosive shells slam into the right engine. The Phantom careens wildly, hurtling earthward in a flat spin. Lodge desperately tries to regain control of the airplane. The Phantom rolls over on its back as the fire spreads up the fuselage. Roger Locker punches out. But Bob Lodge is unable to escape the doomed airplane. Now Now it's clear to Oyster Flight that they've stirred up a hornet's nest. John Markle dives for the ground to make a quick escape. The rest of Oyster Flight scatters. The gravity of what transpired is slow to sink in.
In an instant of time, what was a perfect mission went to the opposite end of the scale.
Roger Locker drifts down to the ground, landing on a ridge deep within hostile territory. He will evade the enemy for an incredible 23 days before being rescued.